This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Garbage day! Huh? No!
Excuse me, mister.
That's okay. Bingo!
It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show.
Greetings all. We got comedian and video editor and frequent podcast guest, Hoff Matthews on the show.
Hi, how's it going?
I'm delightful and ho ho ho, Merry Slasher Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
First off, you've been doing the rounds. You've been appearing on all kinds of stuff, Puppet Master Castle Freaks, all kinds of other blog spots. Why did you think that was something you wanted to get into, if you don't mind me asking?
Cool, podcasting?
Yeah, and blogging and comedic work.
Yeah, I've been doing stuff like that for years, kind of since college in a variety of forms, I guess. I did stand-up for a long time, and I kind of stopped doing that with the pandemic. But since then, I've been making these little mini sketch videos, comedy
C-SPAN
videos.
reactions and
Yeah, exactly. I edit myself into political press conferences. And those have had some modest success. And I had my own podcast for a while back in the day, also for like a year or two. Recently I've been making the rounds a little bit.
Sweet. And it is kind of wild how healing it really is when it's like I got to respond to it in some way, but I got to do it entertainingly. But I also
The political material?
Yeah, but just in general, like we all respond to something, and that's how we pretty much legit stop ourselves from becoming insane. We have to respond to something.
Yeah, it is a lot of what it is, just a coping mechanism.
Basically, it's like, yeah, I gotta say something. Otherwise,
Yeah, I try to make my stuff like not too reactive because sometimes like you see something that makes you really angry and you just want to like make something that's, a response to it, and often that material is not like the most funny or interesting. And if people are like sort of trying to provoke you, then to some
beating a
extent
dead
it's kind of
horse.
like, yeah, you're sort of like
I
falling for
got
the
it.
bait.
Yeah.
So yeah, I try to avoid those sorts of impulses, but it's a nice
It's a shame how
valve to
many
have.
channels there are out there, but then I still come up across the ones that have the AI generated thumbnail. It's like, well, it might be good, but generally, if you've gone that far, you're gonna have an AI doctored voice and just, it's too clickbaity looking. It's very manipulative. So I don't.
Yeah, well, I get a lot of that too. Like a lot of comments of people saying, "Oh, this is just AI." I have to be like, "No, that's the almost all of my comments on my own videos are just me replying to people to be like, "No, it's not AI. It's edited. I edited this myself."
That's the other thing too. We have the counter reverse uh trolling, if you will, where people go, "That's bait, that's fake." I'm like, no, I'm being pretty legit right now.
Yeah.
You, I get that it's a hot take, but
Yeah.
I don't give a
My
shit.
opinions just are that weird. Yeah.
I gotten this far. I'm not gonna stop now.
Hmm.
And it is this. That's why I thought this was perfect for you. I know you said, when we were talking off air, I'd be interested in some of the slasher episodes, and so I thought, ho ho ho, Merry Shitmas. But
Yes.
yeah, we previously covered the franchise, so now that we're talking our favorite moments, we don't really have to talk many of the ins and outs. Basically, anyone wants as much of a summary as they can get about a loosely structured franchise. Basically, it started off with a copycat killer of another guy who goes around killing people dressed as Santa Claus, getting back at the rapist who was dressed as a mall Santa, and then it goes from there to just killer toys and bugs and parasites and other crazy stuff. It's a very trashy franchise. I really honestly only knew about it growing up because it had made articles of previously banned movies and the garbage day obviously was doing the rounds on YouTube of,
Yes.
WTF moments from movies. That gave it a second life. But yeah, I was a fan of Brian Yuzna of the, Faust, Reanimator, and all those one of the better B movie guys, who does his own independent projects for Lionsgate and Sony, often stuff like The Dentist and what have you. And so I was like, well, his are definitely higher rated than the infamous original. And so I guess to get us in the mood, you were having some great amusing commentary behind the scenes while we were getting ready. Like, yes, I have seen these, unfortunately. So I guess that's just the perfect vibe. Is like my favorite part about movie one is when it ends.
I mean, I don't. These movies are a mixed bag to me. It's
They
definitely
really are.
not.
They really are.
Yeah.
But it's like
That's
part
not
one.
like I think they're all terrible or anything.
It is kind of wild though. It's like movie one is just so upsetting. It is one of those. It's like if
Yeah.
you just took out the rape scene and the trauma, is like it blurs that line between being a clueless B movie to an exploitation picture. It's like it needed just again some Joe Dante or Sam Raimi blood. Just something to just. Better yet, if Jim Wynorski had done it, he would have done his usual. I know I'm aware this is a piece of shit, so I'm gonna embrace it and do some self-aware dialogue or something. Just
Mhm.
he. And so it is kind of wild how it's like I didn't know about it after the fact until just years later. It's like, oh yeah, due to coming out, post Nancy Reagan, drugs and violence programs are bad. I had no idea this was a movie that wasn't near as violent as it was made out to be, but it was kind of dead on arrival just because, parent groups freaked out and marketing mismanaged it. But it is just so wild how it's like if you just had one movie alone with just the actor playing the, serial killer in the original, I think you would have had you would have had a pre-American Psycho falling down type dark comedy,
Hmm. Well, that's sort of what Christmas Evil is, right?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that's
that's a way more successful, trashy, fun movie. And is
yeah.
like this one was like, Billy, I'm sorry your mom got raped and killed, but Jesus, dude, it's just going around, and I think the biggest issue is you're not sure what to feel during the gory segments. Am I supposed to feel, fun, thrilled by all this mindless killing, or am I supposed to be shocked even more? Am I supposed to feel sorry for him? The filmmaker just feels very compromised by whatever he's trying to do, Charles C. Seeley Jr.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I don't know. I guess I sort of feel like the movie is just trying to like be mean-spirited and off-putting, and I think on that level it's very successful. I don't think it's like super sophisticatedly made, and it's not really a tone that I particularly want to watch personally, but I do feel like I kind of have to hand it to them for executing their vision
All
on
right.
that.
Yeah. I just was wondering how much of it was the editing versus the too many cooks, because there's
Yeah.
something in there. I'm not gonna say it's, a 0-star movie or anything. I just it's just one of those. I'm like, I just don't know what to really feel. Yeah, it is
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
I'll give you that. It is cynical. I just don't know, like, if they're saying, I get they're not trying to be deep. At the Verge, it sounded like a broken record, but at the same time, like, I don't really know who to follow, like,
Yeah.
because everybody who's stopping him is basically a piece of shit too. So I'm like, I just need a little, like, one extra scene of him just like crying to himself, saying "Why me?" or something, just something to kind of get me to pick a lane.
Mhm.
uh, Otherwise, I would have rather it just be a mindless slasher, kind of like Christmas Evil, or uh there's New Year's Evil, I think, as well.
There is, yeah, I've
Yes,
seen that.
1980. Okay, yeah. So I would always get those two mixed up, but one of them was way better than the other, despite the Cannon Films look, and the other one had a very happening soundtrack. But
Mhm.
yeah, those were just fun to watch, just because it was kind of just, I don't want to say documentary mode, but it was just kind of just giving a third person perspective and going from one scene to the next.
Mhm.
Yeah, but
Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night is not super fun.
it's wild. The filmmaker Charles E. Cillier Jr. is best known for producing a lot of documentaries for History Channel, as well as being a producer and director on the Grizzly Adams TV show. So
Yes.
I, what a crazy bag! And then he does a Vietnam revenge film called The Annihilators, and I don't know if he's given any interviews since, but I do want to do a director's cut of part two. Like, just take out the footage from part one. Uh, it was brilliant for them to just the director of that to just be like, I'm just gonna not do anything, any notes my producer pals told me to do. I don't want to make the same stupid movie again, so I'm gonna make my own thing. And having heard Eric Freeman's interview on Classic American Movies, it is just amazing how he kind of like what's her name, Felicia Rose from the
Sleepaway Camp?
yeah, Sleepaway Camp. It is wild how he's embraced the kind of cult fame that he couldn't predict it, but he's actually embraced it a lot and been like, yeah, I got my own idea for a fan film,
Hmm.
So I think this is it. Like, it's not perfect, but I give the guy props considering he used to just be, a background talent, and this was his chance to shine in the lead role.
It is a unique performance for sure.
As mainstream as he got was just some other Empire Pictures, Full Moon movies,
Yeah.
guest spots on a few CBS shows, and doing a background, some supporting acting on sketches for In Living Color. So I mean, that's not bad. I would take that, but I just he was even on America's Most Wanted, so there's that. But I just think it's just so funny how he embraces this character. Like, I don't know if it's the script, but he is kind of just bigger than the movie because he's like in full commitment, even though,
Yeah.
you know, obviously, like many, I do enjoy it more just because it just embraces the absurdity. It's just, it still has a few other problems like many B pictures, but it's just funny how he goes apeshit with that axe. Like, he
Yeah.
just, and by the end, when that SWAT team is going after him, I was like, oh man, we need a director's cut. A police negotiator goes in and says, what's going on here? Ah. Oh, but did you embrace it in the post YouTube age, or was it ever kind of a video store kind of thing?
I mean, I did originally know about it from the Garbage Day clip, the second
I
one.
was just like, this is the best thing ever. The car
Yeah.
that explodes doesn't really match. I love how he's doing it in broad daylight and absolutely no one's coming out. There's no next door neighbor being like, hey man, what the hell? It just unloads it.
I mean, the great thing about that movie is if you go into it knowing it from that clip, you're sort of figuring like, all right, there's this one funny part, but like probably it's all going to be pretty boring, and then there'll be that one part, and that'll be it. And you watch it, and it's like, oh, that character is doing that for the whole movie. Like it really, like it is pretty representative of the film,
Oh, and
except for all the flashbacks, obviously.
absolutely. They were the original purpose was so absurd. It's like, how about the main guy? He's really alive, and they're like, no, he's going to be the brother who, who's a mental patient. Just having him fight these Nurse Ratched equivalents, for B movie material. Oh man, and oh yeah, it's a perfect so bad it's good movie, but it is interesting too, just looking at just some of the different faces that are in it. I love how the loan shark's played by Frank Novik, who's a go-to B movie guy who's had some mainstream roles on Independence Day and Newsies. But the best part was the female lead, Elizabeth Caden, is kind of the go-to for being on Charles Band's Full Moon movies. So like looking at her, she had her moment in the sun with the infamous Friday the 13th Part 7, but then as well as other stuff like Spy Hard and Twins, but then she ends up being in all the Charles Band's crazy just softcore sci-fi movies, and then being in a few other just things by Rick Sloan and this Vice Academy one. So it's like she's definitely a USA Network queen.
Mhm. But there's a lot of Full Moon crossover with the fourth one also. I mean, not to get ahead of things, but
No,
that's
that's
a very
fine.
Full
Yeah.
Moon-ish film.
And so, of the sequels, did you feel some improvement in the trashiness, or was it just kind of it's fine, but it's related in name only? Just
I mean, I think 3 to 5 are kind of my favorite phase of that franchise because they get more just kind of like fun and spooky rather than really like mean-spirited and grim like the first two and the sort
Mhm.
of remake. Um, number 5 is probably like my favorite single film in the franchise.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Monty Hellman, I saw had a reasonable resume. He used
Oh
to,
yeah.
uh, he basically was a UCLA guy, and this was his turn to do some made-for-video stuff. He had been a producer on Reservoir Dogs, of
Well,
all
that was right
things.
after Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. I think
Oh
he might have
wow.
used the money from that movie to help
T-
make Reservoir Dogs.
Maybe Tarantino saw it, and yeah, wow. Okay.
Well, the real question with that one is, did David Lynch see it? Because it has so many David Lynch actors or people who would go on to do David Lynch projects.
I think it might have been some similar producers because there's definitely a lot of those guys who you see in it and you're just like, yeah, what are you're not going to see them in? One minute you're going to see them in a CBS show that your parents watch, and the next minute you're going to see them in some kind of Anchor Bay, Canadian produced production. And
Mhm.
yeah, definitely Twin Peaks type, X-Files type people who you're like,
Yeah.
I guess I kept crushing on the main gal because she looked so much like Jodie Lynn O'Keefe. And
In 3?
yeah,
Yeah, I
Samantha.
thought she looked exactly like Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, just one of those brunette stars who was a heartthrob in the '90s, and you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, and she's interesting because like this is probably her best known role, but she actually has done a lot of, uh, well, I take it back, just 4 movies, and wow, okay, and I always forget that she is in part 4, but it's like a blink and a miss, like
Oh,
flashback.
she is? I just rewatched 3 and 4 because they were the ones I remembered least. Who is she in 4?
She's playing the same person, Laura, but it's like a blink and a miss moment. I think it's just IMDb being stupid because
Huh.
I did see it too, and I was like, "Where is she?" But the plot's
Oh,
not.
you know what? It's the part where Clint Howard is watching part 3 on TV. That
Yeah,
must
so
be what
there
it
you go.
is.
The moment it's technically archive footage, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
But she was in Best of the Best, so another franchise she was a part of. That's lowbrow fun, but yeah, I kind of dig how part 3 just feels like again, it's a typical indie horror movie where let's do our take on Wait Until Dark, where we got a blind woman,
Mhm.
but then let's add a psychic connection and have fun with this. Bill Moseley, so it's a who's who of horror movies appearing in these.
Yeah.
It is so funny though how Robert Culp is in this as the police lieutenant, and kind of like how Mickey Rooney did a part 5 thing showing what a hypocrite he was for speaking out on that movie. Robert Culp kind of comes off to be kind of like that too. kind of in Paycheckville, but I definitely don't feel like he's doing this because he wants to be. Yeah.
He's fun though, you know. It's
No,
fun
he's doing
presence.
his Robert Holt thing. It's a shame that I heard from just a few different B movies that he was an asshole to work with because
Uh,
he is, like you say, he's so charismatic in every show he's ever hosted or been a part of. And you're like, oh, well, hope it was fun while it lasted. But
mhm.
yeah, it's kind of wild too. I've seen the psychiatrist guy in some other stuff. He's been in some different thrillers, and he's
Yeah,
probably
Richard
best.
Beimer, right?
I think so. What's it?
The
Leonard
guy who's doing
Mann.
the experiments with the protagonist, right?
Oh, yeah, I think yeah, Richard C. Adams or something. Yeah, and yeah, Richard Beimer. Yeah, you're right. And then Leonard Mann is who I was thinking of. He plays the
Okay.
psychiatrist, and he's been in Flowers in the Attic and Night School. So it's kind of funny how it's just kind of for these movies. I mean, Lionsgate had it figured out just how to make people want to watch their movies. It wasn't just the cool covers. It was just like they always had like either TV premieres or just ate up video stores. Just people wanted to look them up out of curiosity.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm just like, I think it's kind of fun how part three is like the most serious and kind of competent at it. It doesn't overstay its welcome, but it is kind of just so wild for a franchise that from this point on doesn't really have much to do with anything like past part two. Like just kind of
Yeah.
does its own thing. But yeah, part four and five were kind of wild because like those are the two that mainly, given how they're using up productions, they are following each other. Like, let's go into Puppet Masterville.
Yeah.
Oh, uh, I know, and it was either part four or five. There was some crazy like bug visions, and I was like, man, whoever did those monster effects, good job.
Screaming Mad George in four at least. I'm not sure if you're
Yeah, I
looking at
was
five or
like, man, this is gross. I'm loving it. It's it's got you got my attention.
Yeah, I mean, I'd seen it before, but I was watching or rewatching four and just seeing, I knew it was directed by Brian Yuzna, and then I saw, oh, it was written by Woody Keith, who wrote Society, and the music is by Richard
Oh,
Band
that
from
makes
Full
better sense
Moon, and it's
now.
Screaming Mad
Uh,
George doing the effects. You know, it's like it's the kind of movie if you have heard of any of these people, then you need to watch this.
it is kind of wild though, too. You wonder if Charles Band in different hands would have acquired it, you know, and instead
Yeah,
a lot of his people are working on it, but he has nothing to do with it.
yeah.
uh,
Well, it didn't have any little guys in it, so
right.
why would he be interested?
I felt like they almost did this as kind of a way to mock him, kind of like it's like we're gonna make some killer dolls.
Right, because they do that in number five. So it is kind of crazy that that wasn't a Full Moon production.
Yeah, the toy maker.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just a shame that it took this long for people to realize even though they're lowbrow movies, they are absolutely making fun of just all kinds of just, commercialism, kind of much like Child's Play and Gremlins, just how it's got the cynicism down even more in those. It's just
Mhm.
unless you were a video store junkie or saw this on cable, you weren't gonna seek them out. Oh, I find it even funnier how like part four and five are just like got very moody music, like almost kind of synthwave. It's like,
Mhm.
man, why didn't you guys just retitle these as like something different, like Toy Maker one and two?
Yeah.
Did you ever see the remake?
I did. Yes,
I
I've seen all of them.
I was really surprised by that one. Like that one was just playing very simple. You didn't have to see the original and get the gist of it, and it was kind of just definitely leaned more into the dark comedy. I thought it was just like, yeah, and then this happened, and then that happened, and now we're gonna run around and see these people respond to another crazy incident.
Yeah, I think tonally it's interesting because like the story almost has nothing to do with the original movie, but
Yeah.
tonally I think it's very similar in that it's just trying to be as like mean-spirited and nasty as possible. And again, I think is not really what I want to watch, but I think it's successful at it. Like the part in that movie, if we're doing like favorite moments, like the part in
Yeah.
that movie near the end where it's like I think a final showdown with the Santa Killer and it's all lit with these like sort of neon green and red lights. That was very cool. That was a nice
Yeah.
touch.
I would give you that because, like, other than Eric Freeman's overacting in part two, part three and four and five kind of all just flow very fast. And so
Mhm,
then you're just like, yeah, there's a few wacky moments to kind of pick out of them. I would put them on as a sarcastic Christmas night.
mhm.
I do think Steven C. Miller's a pretty talented guy. I know people have seen his stuff. He's done some independent action movies with aging stars as well as killer AI movie Margot and the recent werewolves. But yeah, he kind of approached the remake as let's just lean more into the Midwestern stuff where people are getting out of their vehicles and just looking around with a WTF look like what's happening.
Mhm.
But yeah, I haven't ever seen any merchandise for the toys in the original film franchise, and would have thought by now they would have included on one of those Blu-ray releases because uh have you ever had the honor of seeing any people hosting bad movie nights,
Oh
including
yeah.
these movies? Oh, okay.
With these movies, I don't think I've ever gone to a live screening of any of these, unfortunately.
It's a pretty hard to improve franchise, but it's also very hard to like perfect, for lack of a better comparison, because like it came up with this wacky just never trust your mobile Santa and just uh, whatever happens, there's got to be a weird slasher backdrop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of all over the place.
There's got to be a deputy who gets killed in a most bizarre way.
Yeah. Somebody's got
uh,
to get impaled on some antlers.
that would probably be the highlight of. I think it's movie one. Someone gets impaled on
Yeah, and
antlers.
I think they do it again in the 2012 one.
Yeah, but like the remake was kind of a blink and a miss. It's like, that was wacky. But like part one, I was just like, it's ingrained in my mind, and I'm like, but am I supposed to feel sad that he's dead, or am I
Yeah.
supposed to just be horrified? What's going on here?
Well, I think it's the guy who does Dinosaur Dracula. You know that website?
Dinosaur Dracula? No, I don't know that.
It's like sort of a nostalgia site, and I'm sorry if I'm misattributing this, but I think I read a thing that guy, that blogger who runs the site, wrote at some point about how when he was a kid, at some point, like his older brother was watching Troma's The Toxic Avenger, and he kind of like snuck into the room and saw some of that, and he saw the part where the little kid gets like run over and his head squashed or whatever. And he talked about how like it was especially disturbing to him because of the tone of the film and the fact that it all seemed like it was supposed to be funny somehow, even though it was so like horrible and disgusting. Like it would
Right.
have been less upsetting to him if it had all been played straight, you know?
Right. You got when watching Trauma, you got to basically be more looking at it at a on a technical level versus, oh my God,
Yeah, well,
still
that's the
saying.
thing. Like people like us, we're so, desensitized that consideration doesn't really come into play anymore.
It also just depends on, I guess, the mood you're feeling. Like, I'll gladly make fun of a bad war movie, even though there's awful shit happening in it. But then there's, yeah, moments where it's like, ugh, I need to
Yeah.
get a very hot shower. This movie just sucks. Like,
Hmm.
and it does even make you wonder half the time if some of it is just someone tinkers around in the editing room too long.
Hmm.
But yeah, Wood Kaufman is interesting because most of the time you're just amazed at how he got stuff done and he bought all these. He was the original. I will buy your piece of shit movie, and I will. we'll
Yeah.
we'll we'll all embrace it because we're all in this together. And some of them went on to actually have legit roles in comedy shows. And
Yeah. Have you heard of the movie I Need You Dead?
Need You Dead. What? That sounds perfect. I love the title. I Need You Dead is horror comedy from
But
2020.
Lloyd Kaufman is in it and like a cameo, and a lot of it has a very like trauma kind of tone. But it's really good, and it's interesting because it sort of starts off as this kind of trauma horror comedy, and then it like starts to shift between that and like a bleak drama about the making of the film you've been watching.
Oh,
It's really good.
jeez. I got it on my Amazon Prime to watch list. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's got a 6.9 on IMDb, so that actually says something. Wow. Was that one kind of a word of mouth kind of movie in like magazines or
I think I saw
um,
reviews on Letterboxd was how I heard about that one.
sarcastic movies to watch? I love it. Yeah, no, I have that dinosaur Dracula bookmarked. It looks like they got a lot of fun stuff looking at Happy Meals and
Yeah, it's a fun set.
old merchandise that you can't believe existed.
Yeah, the guy used to run a different site called X Entertainment that was a similar thing, which I don't think it's up anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, he's got a lot of fun stuff.
I love it. Oh, uh, so who do you prefer as the Santa actor? Is it Eric Freeman or is it the original guy in the original movie?
It's so hard to evaluate Eric Freeman's performance because I mean, I don't, if I'm being honest, I don't think it's good acting, but it's so unique and so like entertaining.
It's
I
intense. It's more of a
Yeah.
commitment versus he did his job versus yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I guess I do feel like that's the best performance in terms of something that I would want to watch is him.
Because most
Nothing
of it,
really against the guy in the first movie. It's just,
yeah.
you know,
And
yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, he did whatever he wanted off the page versus, that was on the script.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Part 4 and 5 had a very fun atmosphere, and part 3 is just again, it's just so funny how I can pick any scene, and it's like, man, this feels like part after school special, part just slasher movie of the week, on a TV budget, but with a little more violence.
I mean, it's got a good opening scene, and I would say one of the best moments in the franchise, the very last shot of that movie, when Bill Moseley's killer just appears on screen, like overlaid over what you've been watching in a like bow tie and tuxedo, but with still with the dome on the top of his head showing his brain, and says, "And a happy new year," because someone's just said like, Merry Christmas or whatever.
It
Uh,
definitely leaned into the absurd a little more, and I don't know if I give that a little extra points. It's just everybody kind of did it as a whole versus one actor overdid the movie in part 2.
yeah. Well, and the other thing with three is that like everything in between the beginning and the ending is totally forgettable, and it's fine. It's
Yeah,
decently
it's not going to
made. It's
make any
just
slasher movie list unless it's
yeah,
someone who worked on it or who just loves bad movies more than us. I don't.
yeah.
But even as a essential so bad it's good, it's not, Dinosaur Island or the Room level where you're just like you got to see
No,
this to believe it.
because it's too competent.
It's too competent. Yeah, and like you say, it's like it's not. It should have just been its own thing instead of now we just know it's a sequel.
Yeah, I was surprised rewatching it how much it does technically follow the story of the previous movies. Like I had sort of remembered that it just sort of uses a name but is totally disconnected, and it's
That's like
not
the
really. That's more like
only.
four and five.
Yeah, it's a stretch.
Yeah.
It's more of a stretch than the whole Saint Elsewhere franchise. Maybe they needed a snow globe. That would have been funny.
Yeah, well, they could have used Bill Moseley's head in that one.
There you go. Shake my brain.
They should have. That would have been a nice holiday touch if you had like flakes of false snow floating around in the brain dome.
Yeah, it just he probably is the biggest performer in it. It just needed some more dad jokes or stupid puns.
Hmm.
Like it could have been on the same trashy level as other Lionsgate, movies like Leprechaun or Wishmaster probably if it had done that.
Hmm.
It, so that was fun. What do you have coming up that you'd love to promote?
Mainly just my videos. I'm at Hoff Matthews on most platforms. I try to put up like in the neighborhood of 4 new videos a week. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. On TikTok, I think I'm at Hoff Matthews 316 because I had at Hoff Matthews, but then I got logged out and I couldn't find my password or something, so I had to start a new one. But yeah, people can find me on various social media platforms under that name and check out what I'm up to.
Sure. And I applaud anybody who wants to do, video viral comedy. It is an art. And unfortunately, I guess my patience wore thin just because there's just so many, dickheads just talking about how your face looks and just petty shit
hmm
that will get under your skin no matter how thick it is. And I was just like, good grief. Is there just no one decent on YouTube, or is it very much like Reddit or Tumblr where it goes in spades? One minute you see something cool, and the next minute you see people, making a snarky remark, and it's like, shut up, join in the chat.
Yeah, I do think YouTube is kind of particularly nasty, but I also don't get as much attention there, so it's not as much of an issue.
There are some times where I'm on Reddit. It's like, I don't even want to reply to these. I just mark read as all,
Yeah.
move on. It's like, I can't tell if you're legit right now or if you just want to overthink a stupid question. But hey, no, this was a delight doing this with you. And we pretty much cut to the chase, guys. If you're going to watch any of these, just YouTube them. If you want to watch a best of scenes, well, watch that. But it might be better with friends. I think all of them are going to be way more amusing. And if you're going to buy the Blu-rays, definitely get them very, very discounted.
And if you're watching with friends, if it's the first or the remake, make sure it's friends who are up for that sort of ordeal.
Yeah, it definitely, I hate to say this, kind of have more of a rock star or gaming mentality around it, whereas like I'm just gonna approach this very mindless. Otherwise, I'm gonna go to bed crying at
Yeah.
the sad shit, even though it's not well made. Oh, and great having you on here, man. We'll definitely try to do some more Giallo stuff with you and just other just wacky stuff. But I'm glad you're doing what you want to do, because I see so many other comedians who will jokingly like say, "Should I give this up?" I'm like, no, do whatever you want to do. Screw however many people are actually tuning in. Keep doing it.
I'm hanging in there. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, happy to entertain.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening. It's a Jack